I don't see how Joe Biden survives this. It's coming out now that it's Barack Obama himself orchestrating the coup against Joe Biden. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Barack Obama who has tried to destroy democracy, overturning the will of the voters in the Democratic primary by staging a secret shadow campaign behind the scenes to freeze out Biden's campaign contributions and make sure he steps down. MSNBC's even reporting this. George Clooney comes out with an op-ed saying Biden's got to go. It's getting spicy over here. But like I was saying, I don't see how Joe Biden survives this. He's up against a head honcho. You know, a lot of people thought that Barack Obama was pulling the strings the whole time. Now, many people believe, I don't know how true this is or how many people, but there's a rumor going around that Michelle Obama will be the nominee. Could this be the play? Barack Obama is trying to force Joe Biden out so that they can put Michelle Obama in. Because I got to be honest, why would Barack Obama, what's his interest in removing Joe Biden? Certainly there are many Democrats who want to see Joe Biden step down. Barack Obama may be one of them. Leading the charge, however, with many people speculating that Michelle Obama is the only one who can defeat Donald Trump. You look at the polls. Some say Hillary Clinton. No. Now, look, even if Joe Biden steps down, Kamala Harris is still in the way. But I don't think you need a grand conspiracy in order to get Kamala Harris to step down. It's simple. They go to her and say, Kamala, Joe's going to step down, and then you're going to go with him. And she goes, okay. Now, I don't know to what degree she's willing to just say yes, but it depends on who you're up against. You're going up against the machine. A lot of people just bend the knee. And Kamala Harris, well, let's just say she is a shrinking violet. She's not going to stand up to this. She comes out of the convention and say, the will of the people have spoken, and I respect democracy. And that's it. Michelle Obama steps out. Fanfare. Everyone cheers. Obama's back, baby. This time, Michelle Obama. I don't know that Michelle Obama can win, though. And so I'm not completely confident this is the scenario. Maybe this could be why Barack Obama is intervening in the way he is. But I want to make sure I stress this point going back to 2008, 2012, and even 2020. Barack Obama was the first black president, and conservatives, independents really did not care. That's the truth. That's why 9 million Barack Obama voters switched to Donald Trump in 2016. Trump voters, at least 9 million, had no problem voting for Barack Obama twice, but Hillary Clinton was bad. So they want to see that change. However, there was something interesting Democrats did with Barack Obama's running mate. They chose an old white man, Joe Biden. And at the time, everyone was saying it's because they're concerned racists will not vote for Barack Obama. But you put an old white man on the ticket, you're good to go. And I believe that's true. Middle of the road, younger Americans are progressive and don't really care about all that stuff. I believe most Republicans don't really care about that stuff either. Certainly there are racist Republicans, don't get me wrong. But they weren't going to vote Democrat anyway. The Democrats were worried that older Democrat voters will not vote for a black man. And now, with many people on the right saying Michelle Obama's going to come in, she could win, I'm like, you see, Republicans, you need to understand, because in your mind, in the mind of Republicans, because they aren't racist, they're willing to vote for a black person, woman, or otherwise. And so when they say Michelle Obama may be the candidate, Republicans actually get worried. Donald Trump right now has posted on Truth saying, oh, George Clooney, what a rat. He's trying to sabotage Biden. And they're claiming that Trump is worried that if Biden gets swaps out, Trump may lose. But Michelle Obama is the only person polling above Donald Trump. All of the replacements are below. So what does that bring us to? Donald Trump doesn't think that being a black woman plays a role in whether or not he will, that people will vote for Michelle Obama. So the argument from the left is there are people who are going or I should say that Trump is worried he will lose voters to Michelle Obama. Trump is not concerned that Republicans are racist. He's worried they're not. That's their argument. Meanwhile, Democrats, as we know from that Yale study, they present themselves as less competent in interactions with black voters, with black people. And so in this instance, I believe that Republicans don't truly grasp this. Older Democrats are racist. Younger Democrats are progressive. So you go to all the millennials and they're going to vote for, whichever DEI candidate or whatever you want to call it. They'll vote for that. But the older Democrats, which are the bulk of the voting bloc, they're not. Michelle Obama is going to need an old white man. And who does she have? What if this happens? Michelle Obama says, Joe Biden should not step down. She comes out at the convention and says, Joe Biden should not step down. Joe Biden is a good and decent man, but he needs help. I will help him complete that vision. Joe, step in as my vice president, and I will, oh boy, wouldn't that be something? I can't imagine something like that happening, but I gotta be honest, nothing that we're seeing is precedented. It is all unprecedented. So I honestly got no idea. But it would be funny if Michelle Obama came out and like, here's an idea. Instead of replacing Biden, you be my VP. I'll be the candidate. I'll assure everyone that I can lead the charge and you will be there to fulfill your vision. And the Democrats are going to cheer to the high heavens. And just like with Barack, the older, more racist Democrats are going to be like, well, Joe's there, so I'll vote for that. But I'll also stress this. Guys, Michelle Obama is also a woman. Oh, I know. Cue the conspiracy comments, but it doesn't matter, okay? Your conspiracies don't matter. You can believe whatever you want to believe. Michelle Obama, a woman. Sorry. I do believe that women are at a massive disadvantage among older voters. Younger voters may say like, oh, we want this, progressives, whatever. But you're going to find a lot of people saying they don't want a female president, whether you like it or don't. Let's read this news, though, my friends. Obama knew in advance of George Clooney's bombshell call for Biden to drop out. Well, here's a story from yesterday from the New York Times. George Clooney. I love Joe Biden, but we need a new nominee. Look at this picture they chose of Joe Biden for the New York Times. Yo, the media is sabotaging him, okay? This is what they would do to Donald Trump. And Barack Obama. Okay, I gotta do this. I gotta play this clip. That's not the clip. Where's the clip? Here's the clip. Let me play this clip for you.
Say one thing that we do have to underline here, just so viewers can follow what's going on behind the scenes, is the Biden campaign and many Democratic officials do believe that Barack Obama is quietly working behind the scenes to orchestrate this.
Well, so there it is. The growing criticism of Biden, the Clooney op-ed, Morning Joe says Barack Obama's orchestrating all this. So Barack Obama, who's he working with that they're going to run a photo like this of Joe Biden? It's all framing. What if they showed a picture of a strong, smirking Joe Biden, aviator sunglasses, pointing at you, showing strength? Instead, they show this grimacing, awful photo because they are framing the narrative. It is intentional. They will remove Joe Biden. They don't want a primary. I mean, man, I have to wonder sometimes what the deep state guys think when they watch my videos. Like, I got a couple FBI agents and they're sitting there clicking through. And I have to wonder if they're going, this Tim guy, he really knows what we're doing. Or if they're like, this guy's so dumb, he has no idea what's going on. And I assume it's probably the latter. They're like, this guy's a moron. They're all idiots. But from what I can see, based on the news reporting and where we're at, over the past 10 years, the Democrats almost lost to Bernie Sanders twice. Grassroots efforts will undermine establishment control, and they can't let that happen. See, for the longest time, the two-party system basically kept everybody out. But then eventually activists figured out how to game the two-party system. You end up with Trump and Bernie, the populist uprising in the ranks. Well, the Republicans couldn't stop Trump. The Democrats did stop Bernie, and they stopped him twice. Second time around, you had all of the Democrat candidates, well, not all, but a handful, drop out of the race at the same time and endorse Joe Biden. And they're sitting there thinking like, I can't believe this guy's so close to winning. We cannot have a primary. So what happens this time? RFK Jr. And they shut him out. And it's BS. And no, Joe Biden's the nominee. Get out of here. I say good work, RFK Jr. Good work. You've exposed them. Because now that we're deep in the race, they're trying to do the desperate Indiana Jones swap out, and it may not work. I think it likely will. And so it's funny to me when I look at these prediction markets and they're like a 50% chance that Joe Biden will drop out of the race. And I'm like, oh, please. You know what? 50%. Yeah, right. I'd say that there is a in my view, a 100% chance. And it's funny because we were talking on Timcast IRL and I said, we're so far ahead of the news cycle. Like we are on the pulse, finger on the pulse. I was like, I should invest more. It's like that story breaks about Nancy Pelosi buying stock in NVIDIA. And I'm like, look at that. And then it's like 6 months later, she made $15 million. And I was like, why don't I buy stock? Like, I'm watching the news. I know what they're doing. I know what's going to happen. Jeez. I'd be a lot wealthier, a lot more wealthy if I just did that. The funny thing is, like the next day, I was like, look, it was Joe Biden was at like 80% in the prediction markets to be the nominee. And we said, wow, Joe Biden might step down. Maybe, we should bet on Kamala. The next day, Kamala was the front runner, up by like 40%. And I'm like, man, you threw $1,000 in there. You made $400 overnight. Yeah, really. So George Clooney writes this op-ed. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I make no apologies for that. Well, you should. I'm kidding. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm proud of what my party represents and what it stands for is part of my participation in the democratic process and in support of my chosen candidate. I have led some of the biggest fundraisers in my party's history. Barack Obama in 2012, Hillary Clinton in 2016, Joe Biden in 2020. Last month, I co-hosted the single largest fundraiser supporting any Democratic candidate ever for President Biden's reelection. I say all of this only to express how much I believe in this process and how profound I think this moment is. I love Joe Biden. As a senator, as a vice president, and as a president, I consider him a friend, and I believe in him, believe in his character, believe in his morals. In the last 4 years, he's won many of the battles he's faced. But the one battle he cannot win is the fight against time. Ah, yes, time makes fools of us all. None of us can. It's devastating to say, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe big effing deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at that debate. Don't you just love where all these things are going? Knives out for Biden, man. They want this guy gone. Now, here's what I don't understand. I shouldn't say I don't understand, but honest question. Why so hard against Joe Biden? They don't need to go this hard. They could have had the debate, or maybe they did. Okay, so let's try some scenarios. Joe Biden needs to step down. They want to get someone else in. Maybe it's Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton. I have no idea. Buttigieg? Probably not. Newsom? Who knows? Could they not have just had Joe Biden have a medical issue? That's the cleanest way out. The cleanest way out, as I've described over and over again, is, and I've done this silly scenario where Newsom runs out, throws his jacket off, and saves Joe Biden. But no, let's just say that Joe Biden is on Air Force One, and news report breaks, Joe Biden has suffered a medical emergency. He lands, he's okay. Joe Biden goes to Walter Reed or wherever, and they say he suffered a cardiac event, but he's okay. And then Joe says, I'm not a young man anymore. And I think, and then he does this right before the convention. He could say, I'm not a young man anymore. And I feel like I'm letting you all down. But I also know that running this country is the hardest job. And perhaps, as much as I would have loved to, I will not be able to complete a second term. I'm an 81-year-old man. And for this, I call upon the Democratic Convention, the committee, to hold an open convention. Should the people of this convention decide I should be the president, then I will humbly accept. But I believe it should only be fair that perhaps it's time for some younger blood. That would have been the simplest thing to do. There would have been cheers. Oh, Joe, you're so magnanimous. We love you. What a hero. And he'd get praise from the four corners of the earth. Instead, they're doing this weird coup against him. It's almost like Joe Biden is refusing to back down. So I have to wonder if they know they need him out. He knows he's supposed to drop out. And Jill and Hunter are like, don't you do it. You've got the seat of power now. Don't give it up. But these people, it's the Goblin King. Do you know how the Goblin King works? I love the Goblin King. To become king of the goblins, you must slay the previous king. Futurama also had a joke about it where they go to that water planet. And in order to become king, you drink, because they're made of water or whatever, I guess, I don't know. You drink them. It's almost like this is how the Democratic Party operates. It's like the Sith. You must destroy the master so the apprentice can ascend and then take on a new apprentice. The Hollywood A-lister called Obama in advance, this Clooney, to warn him he was going to make the call in an op-ed published in the New York Times, sources told Politico. The ex-president didn't encourage Clooney to make the remarks, but didn't try to stop him either. Why are they reporting this? How are they reporting this? Who told them this happened? Guys, people, please. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Y'all see it, don't you? So George Clooney calls Barack Obama, and what? The Hamburglar is around the corner, peeking his head out, and he's like, oh, golly. And then he calls Politico and says, I just heard George Clooney on speakerphone with Barack Obama, and Obama didn't object. And how do you know this? How do you know about a private phone call George Clooney had with Obama unless someone else was in the room or in the meeting? And why would they do that? It's nonsense. It's framing. It's a lie. Okay? Clooney called Obama. Obama had the conversation. Obama then said, send that to Politico. We want them to know. Why? Did Clooney do it? Someone did it. Look, there's literally no world in which my phone calls end up in the New York Post. None. I get on a phone call with an advertiser. I get on a phone call with a distributor. I get on a phone call with a tech company. I get on a phone call with my mom or my dad, and I do it every day, phone calls. And there's no reality where it's like the New York Post writes like Tim Pool talked to his dog walker about the schedule for, when the dog needs to go outside. Why? Unless my dog walker called the New York Post and told them. It's all fabricated. You live in a scripted universe, or at least they try to make it scripted. Hence, they shadow ban channels like this. Y'all are watching with all of this news. It's a marionette show. It's a puppet show. It's reality TV. It's fake. It's scripted. And there are a few channels like this one that are not. It is funny when the conspiracy theorists think that we're like part of some controlled opposition or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm just a guy who complains at the camera. I'm looking at the camera right now complaining. That's all I do. But I got to tell you this. Do you ask yourselves these questions? I know many of you do. Some may not, but many of you do. I assume most Democrats don't ask themselves, how did they know about this phone call? It's ridiculous. We also have this. So this is the story, what Obama and Pelosi are doing about Biden. Two of the party's most prominent figures have served as sounding boards for people seeking to push the president aside. Oh, boy. Donald Trump has chimed in. So now fake movie actor George Clooney, who never came close to making a great movie, is hold on. Hey, he was in Batman Forever. Trump, you take that back. He's getting into the act. He's turned on Crooked Joe like the rats they both are. But what does Clooney know about anything? He uses the Democrat talking point that Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, has saved our democracy. No, Crooked Joe was the one who weaponized law enforcement against his political opponent, who created the most devastating inflation in his country's in the history of our country, who embarrassed our nation in Afghanistan, and whose crazy open border policy has allowed millions of people to illegally pour into our country, many from prisons and mental institutions. Crooked Joe Biden didn't save our democracy. He brought our democracy to its knees. Clooney should get out of politics and go back to television. Movies never really worked out for him. I don't know. I got to be honest. Ocean's 11. Pretty good. The rest of them, I don't know. The worst thing they ever did, and they've done this multiple times, is when they did, what was it, like Ocean's 12 or whatever, when they had, what's her name? That's that actress's name. I don't even remember her name. But they had the actress in the movie play herself as it's just so cringe. So George Clooney has a love interest, and I can't remember the lady's name, and then they're Julia Roberts, is that her name? And then they're like, doesn't she kind of look like Julia Roberts? And they're like, no. And she's like, oh, don't you do it. And then they have her as her character pretend to be Julia Roberts. That was the cringest writing ever done for a movie ever. And it's not the first time it's happened, nor will it be the last. But anyway, I like Ocean's 11. I do. I thought the end was great. My favorite scene in the movie is when at the end, it's been so long since I've seen it. What's the guy's name? The bad guy who owns the casino. He's not really, actually, he's the good guy who owns the casino, and they're the bad guys. But George Clooney comes out of the room, and then he's like, who took my money? And then he says, what if I could, he's like, I got no idea what you're talking about. And I love that scene. Great acting, by the way. Shout out George Clooney. Great acting, by the way. Not great politics. Actually, rather vapid and stupid, but, I give people credit where credit's due. I'm not going to look at somebody who, chiseled a beautiful ice sculpture, but he's got a Biden bumper sticker and be like, that's a bad ice sculpture. It's like, well, actually, it's a pretty good ice sculpture, but I don't like to do it for Biden. You're allowed to. You know what I mean? I wish you didn't. So here's the latest polling from 538. YouGov has Trump up 4 against Harris and 3 against Biden. If Biden's out and Harris stays, Trump still wins. But I love this so much. I love this so much because we went over this yesterday, but let me just point this out. Against Harris, according to Redfield and Wilton, Trump is up 7. Against Biden, he's up 1, and this includes Kennedy. If they throw in Shapiro, Trump's up 8. Warren, Trump up 10. Gore, Trump up 5. Clinton, Trump up 7. Sanders, Trump up 6. Buttigieg, Trump is up 10. Whitmer, Trump is up 10. Newsom, Trump is up 8. Harris, Trump is up 6. There's nothing they can do. They got nobody. Okay, there is this one poll. There's one poll saying Hillary Clinton can beat Trump by 2 points. All right. Harris beating Trump by 1 point. Fine. Look at this. July 5th, Morning Consult has Biden above Donald Trump. All right. And I'm sorry. I'm wrong. That's Wisconsin, specifically Wisconsin. So I thought this was just the president. I should just grab the presidential polls. My bad. Here we go. So, all right, here we go. Ipsos, the Washington Post, ABC, Harris is up 2. Look at that. With Biden, they say it's even. Maybe they'll really try it. Then we have all the polling that I already read. Where's the Michelle Obama one? That one's interesting because if Barack Obama, can I not load more polls? If Barack Obama really is the one orchestrating this, oh, okay, here we go. Then let's see, where's the Michelle Obama one? Do they have that one? Maybe they don't have it. There we go. July 1st, Ipsos Reuters, Michelle Obama up 11 points. If Barack Obama really is the one orchestrating this, maybe that is why. So you heard it here first. Not that I'm going to be right about everything, but I did say, 8 months ago, Joe Biden will not be the nominee. I was sitting there reading all these stories and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way they run this guy. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm going to turn out to be right. I don't know. What do I win? A Coke? We'll find out. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out and I'll see you all then.